This is the Neflix 1 month overview reading for the month of March 2024. It's currently January 29th, 2024, 9:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Neflix at the time of this reading is $575.79, that's USD. And the shuffle video for the March Neflix reading was created on January 8th, 2024 at 8:26 p.m. Eastern Time. That's this video here in the corner. So the overall theme and behavior for Neflix in March is the sideways rotation establishing support followed by a notable move higher standing out on a 1 month chart scale. It's crossed, however, with 3 pokes through the same resistance followed by a sharp drop off of that third poke. Usually it's a horizontal line, but on the scale of like a 1 month, it could be at an angle, the resistance. So overall mixed, but I think for the most part, it will end up like higher than where we start. Behavior around the highest high for the month. We have a decline through multiple support levels off of the higher highs, and then the behavior into the lowest low or lows is a decline that increases with momentum moving forward in time. Now, it's important to understand if you've never seen one of these 1 month SO meta-analysis readings, the cards going left to right across the screen in these 2 rows. They represent, each card represents a day, one trading day in the month of March. You can see the dates above them. But what's important to understand is that we do a lot of these 1 months. Not in every single reading will the timing be 100% to the day. In some cases, it's not frequent, but in some cases, you'll have to give it plus or minus a day of wiggle room here or there on the timing. In cases where that happens, make sure to follow the sequence of chart events as predicted, because that will remain accurate and keep you on track. The reason why that is because not each card's energy will line up perfectly with 24 hours of time. That's just the way that reality is. In most of the readings, it'll be right to the day, though. I want to make sure everybody's aware. The whole purpose of the channel is to transmute some of the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. We do that by following the rule of karma for the channel. You go to the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders, and 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities, or pick a charity of your choosing, as long as you're paying 5% forward, and then 5% should be sent back to the channel through one of these links. If you're international, you can use Wise or you can use YouTube tips, and that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that 90% out of love. As long as you follow those rules, you follow the rule of karma for the channel, the universe considers you an angel investor. It's going to send it back to you tenfold for following through. Blessings to all my angel investors. So let's get back into it. On the first, we have a crest that we sell off from pretty notably down to and through support, and then we do a U-shaped reversal below support, come back and reuse that price level as support. Coming out of February, it looks like we have pretty big moves to the upside here at the end of the month, but on the last day, there's a pretty sharp decline there. I'm picking up either a pretty sharp decline there into the first and or from the first into the fourth. There's a unicursal hexagram correlation here, and it's a Princess of Swords. Princess of Swords indicates a resistance level on a multi-day scale that'll be highlighted, and the price levels, like the price change around it, there'll be a lot of that back and forth to and out of that resistance level, allowing for one to trade both directions at different times. It looks like we have probably a lower open. We have 2 local highs on a 1-day chart on the 5th, meaning that there'll be 2 crests. If you look at a 1-day chart of the 4th, there'll be 2 crests there, as well as 2 local lows. It looks like 1 in the morning and then 1 towards the afternoon. A day trade opportunity as well on the 4th that I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. And then on the 5th, it looks like we have a big move from a trough early in the day. There's a big move higher to reach for a distant resistance on a multi-day scale. That's followed by a decline on the 6th down to and through support to meet another support. We bounce along that support for a little bit throughout the day, and then we break down through more supports into a trough. It looks like midday. Matter of fact, I think we probably have a significant trough midday on the 5th, and out of that trough, we have that big move to the upside. And then the decline on the 6th back to a trough midday. On the 7th, more decline, and that decline offers both a day trade opportunity and a swing trade opportunity. I will get into more detail in the paid version. That decline takes us into a prominent trough on a 1 month scale. And then on the 8th, we have bumping along resistance sideways, possibly breaking through a resistance and then meeting another one and bumping along sideways. That type of behavior throughout the day. On the 11th, we have a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a decline through multiple support levels. Now, on a lot of the March readings, there's a notable high here on the 11th, 12th, and then another one around the 15th. I'm not so sure about it here on the 11th, but it's possible based on, what we're seeing from all the other March readings. In any case, it's a brief peak that's easily missed, followed by a sharp decline through multiple support levels, a unicursal decline, taking us into, it looks like we're range bound on the 12th. We're bound by the upper end of the range and the bottom end of the range, but there is a day trade there in the midst of that, which I'll talk about in the paid version. And then on the 13th, another prominent peak or crest on a 1 month scale, and towards the earlier part of the day. And from that, we have a big move higher into it that'll stand on a 1 month scale, followed by out of that trough early in the day, a big move to the downside to revisit a trough or support level on a multi-day scale that was recently like an important support level. We're coming to revisit it there on the 13th towards the end of the day after a sharp decline. On the 14th, we establish support with some sideways rotation. There's a big move higher and then more sideways rotation at a higher price level leading into the 5th, where we have a prominent peak on a 1 month scale and then a significant decline into a key support level on a multi-day scale there on the 15th. And before we go any further, let's take a look at the January reading and see how we're doing. All right, so this was a significantly bullish reading, standing out amongst many of the other January readings. This one was significantly bullish, and you can see what happened here with this big move on the 23rd, which is that adjustment card, taking us into a highest high I have for the 26th, and then again on the 29th, and it looks like we nailed that. Possibility of revisiting a high before the end of the month, but really we nailed that, guys. We had a lowest low on the 3rd. It looks like we had a lowest low on the 3rd when you look at the body of the candlestick, which is what many people go for. If you look at the wick, then we were off by a day, but usually people go by the body. We nailed that as far as lowest low, and then there was the possibility of another lowest low on the 17th. And you can see we didn't have a lowest low, but it came pretty darn close. I mean, as far as like the lowest point in that drop. So this was really solid. If you opened up a short position in the midst of that rally, that candlestick wick higher here on the 5th, you would have been able to close that probably in the morning there on the 9th for a solid trade, and then open up a long position on the 9th. You could have closed, on the 8th, closed it on the 8th or closed it on the 9th. There were some solid gains there. The 10th, we had a sharp unicursal decline that turned into a rally, and then that rally was halted by a decline through key support. And then on the 12th, significant move to the high there. One of the main trades would have been here on the 17th to open up a long position. You would have done that there on the 17th, and we would have looked to close that position on the either the 23rd, the 25th, or the 29th, depending on how much risk tolerance you have. 25th would have been here, or I said 23rd, right? 23rd would have been here, so you still would have made money. 25th would have been here, you would have made a solid amount, and then the 29th, you really wouldn't have left much on the table. Guys, you would have had all those trades as early as November of 2023. You would have had those trades already planned ahead and known what dates you were looking at for those trades. If you had early access on our website, it's the only place you can get this type of information. It's so underpriced, it's ridiculous, guys. You go to our services, SO Meta Posts, scroll down to monthly subscription, click here to order, and you click on subscribe to Neflix, $111. You know how much money you could have made with those trades? My God. Like, so much money, as long as you know how to trade and utilize that information properly, like, and you're not like some fool that bets everything in one shot. Like, that would just be dumb. In any case, a really, really great way to support the channel, and it's the most popular subscription here is the all paid, gives you access to the paid version of all of these. What you get in the paid version, my friends, is the best trades, the timing of the best trades, what to look for as far as chart behavior for entry and exit into those trades, price level information, trades from a multi-month and a multi-year standpoint. I mean, it's invaluable information, my friends. Okay, so on the 15th, like I said, out of a peak, there's a notable decline to a support level that'll stand out on a multi-day scale, and like probably a one-year chart scale. We open higher on the 18th and decline again, and then that decline takes us into the 19th, where there's a big move out of the decline from the bottom of the range to the top of a range. Cross-reading congruency there, I'll talk about in more detail in the paid version. And there's an important resistance level highlighted there around the 19th, 20th. A lot of decline off of that to troughs on the 20th. The 21st looks like it's mixed, but overall to the downside, it's hard to say. The 21st looks mixed. And then it looks like we probably decline at some point from the 21st from a peak, down to and through support, rotate sideways into the 22nd along that key support. And then we have this fast sudden move higher at the end of the day of the 22nd, ending that period of sideways rotation and taking us into another prominent peak there at the end of the week. We open slightly higher, it looks like on the 25th. I'm advised not to chase a rally there. There's a unicursal hexagram energy there, and it looks like we have a pretty sharp decline off of a peak early in the day into a significant trough on the 26th. That decline might even continue into the 27th, and then out of a trough midday on the 27th, there's a big move from the bottom of a range all the way to the top of a range on a one-month chart kind of scale or a multi-day chart kind of scale. Prominent peak on the 28th in the midst of multiple failed attempts to break through key resistance, and it looks like the first trading day of the following month, we may have another prominent peak. I'm advised to be cautious there. Some sort of tricky chart behavior in the midst of a move higher. And that's Neflix for March 2024. Thank you so much for supporting the channel by subscribing. If you've done that already, guys, make sure to like this video. It really helps out the channel. Most importantly, make sure to follow that rule of karma. Without those beautiful people like yourselves, there would be no point in me doing this. So make sure you're one of that 3% that follows through on the rule of karma, and the universe will reward you tenfold, my friends. Blessings to all my angel investors. I'll see you guys on the next one. Stay tuned if you got the paid version. So as far as the sequence of like one-year chart kind of, or a multi-year chart kind of scale, the sequence of events, we're on track here. I want to point out,